ImmunityBio, IBRX is the ticker, and it just went nuclear. Their FDA-approved immunotherapy, ANKTIVA, saw a revenue explosion year on year to $113 million in 2025. That's an insane 700% jump year on year. This week, we also got Saudi approvals for bladder and lung cancer, trials ahead of schedule with full enrollment hitting Q2 2026, and early NK wins crushing lymphoma. On the back of this, the stock surged by over 120% in 1 week. Shorts are getting absolutely wrecked. In this deep dive video, I break down the fundamental drivers of price, both in the short term and the long term, and why the next 1 to 5 years could be massive for IBRX. Stick around. You won't want to miss this long form video on IBRX. We start off on IBRX on the technicals, but first, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. Do your own research. This stuff is very risky. For my subscribers, like and comment. I value that stuff. And for my future subscribers, you're going to be subscribing right now. Like, subscribe, and comment on this video. As you can see from the technicals, well, on my channel, I've been tracking it for a while now. And actually, I've been an owner. My family's been an owner since 2018. So we've seen the big ups to $40 a share, which at this level here, that's when there was much less shares outstanding. So yeah, biotech needs to fund operations. To do that, they're going to issue debt, they're going to issue equity. That equity is going to be dilutive. So do I expect this to hit $40 again anytime soon? No, I do not. Not soon. Okay, because back then, there was probably half the amount of shares outstanding, and I'm just guessing. Somebody probably knows the actual number. But back then, there was a lot lower float than it is now. So I wanted to get that out of the way. It's like, do we expect a short squeeze to 40? Yeah, we can get it. Do I expect that? I'm going to be realistic. That's my value. I'm going to give you realistic assumptions and analysis. So I would say probably not, but by 2030, why not? Right? Why not? This is going to be, I can sit here and say, oh, it's going to get bought out. No, it's not going to get bought out. I don't know the future, guys. I'm just saying this is revolutionary. And we're going to get into the fundamentals later. I want to stay on the technicals right now. We had a falling wedge here and we broke it hard. This is the girthiest green dildo I've ever seen on any. It's just extraordinary because if you go back here, yeah, you have a great one here and you have great ones here. But this is just 1 week candle. So go back over to 2019, you have a 1 week candle here, which is just as impressive. But this candle's justified because the shorts were all over this thing. They thought that Patrick Soon-Shiong would fail, run out of money, be further dilutive. And Patrick said, well, we're going to Saudi Arabia and we're going to do lung cancer and brain cancer and we're going to do all that on an FDA that will approve us. And I thought that was really smart. When he said that, when that came to market and he said, well, USA is too slow. USA is too political. And he said something about that in his tweet. He said, why would you short a cancer cure? And it's like, well, their interests are against a cure. Our interests as retail investors, our interests are for a cure. Your mother, your grandmother, your cousins, somebody that suffers with some form of cancer, that this can help them in a real world scenario. We love that shit. We are retail people. We want progress. Some people in the banks, some people in the hedge funds, some people in the FDA, some people in big pharma don't want this. So they have big influence in the FDA. And I think America being a highly politicized environment, I could say that there's a lot of vested interest against this performing. But look at this volume, everybody. Look at this volume over here. Just minuscule volume compared to the volume here. And I can go over to the volume over here on the right side. It's 536 million shares traded in this week. That's a lot of short covering. The volume says it all. And this RSI covered in my last video. I did a video I'm going to link at the end, a top 6 investment. IBRX was in it. Invivid was in it. A bunch of winners in it. And I said, we have to clear this RSI midline. We cleared the RSI midline profoundly with short covering. Now, what's going to happen next? Well, the wedge broke. This was a long wedge, right? This is a wedge going back to almost 2 years, April 2024. So what you can expect, because there was such a consolidation wedge, you can expect some upward price action. Where? I'll get to that in a moment. But you can expect the Gaussian channel. This is the Gaussian channel. It's just a mix of moving averages, right? When you're below the Gaussian, bad, right? Gaussian rejection, Gaussian rejection, Gaussian rejection. We came out, we head faked a little bit, back in Gaussian rejection. Now we're above the Gaussian again. Let's see what's going to happen with the momentum with Patrick Soon-Shiong, with his operations capability in the Middle East, in Saudi, in UAE, the Emirates, in Qatar possibly, and getting the global population to come to the Middle East and get this cancer treatment. And so the technicals look very exciting to me. I had an arrow here. Well, I was wrong. It went straight up. The RSI went straight up. And where it goes from here, it probably looks something like this, where it pulls back, comes back up, pulls back, comes back up. I think we've cleared this 50 level. And I would look for 50 as support, the RSI, just like we had here, 44.50 as support. We are in a bull market for IBRX and biotech and pharmaceuticals. Let's move on. I want to cover the king first. The king, Dr. Patrick, seeing is believing, the patient with multiple bone tumors after failing standard of care and complete response after just 4 doses of our targeted NK, that's natural killer cells, and now is in ongoing remission, 7 months with no further treatment. Let me reemphasize that. Really interesting, right? The power of NK cells is self-evident. Outpatient treatment without lymphodepletion and toxic chemo, a paradigm change. And here's all the fanfare. I'm in there. I'm commenting. I hope he retweets me one day. But yeah, that's the king right there. He's been doing this for so long. People are going to come onto the scene and see Patrick Soon-Shiong and say, this guy's a wizard. They don't know his struggles. We've seen his struggles in terms of battling the FDA, battling the markets, battling the shorts. And he also had a comment, why would you short a potential cancer cure? I agree completely. Ashton Cheekley here, I've been commenting on his post. I like his post. ANKTIVA is an IL receptor, similar in concept to the GLP-1. This gets into, this is above my pay grade, but it sounds really cool. The key insight and why the market is so excited is that this mechanism is not cancer type specific, meaning whether it's lung, brain, breast, pancreas, right? Natural killer cells are signaled to broadly find and destroy all cancer cells. F cancer. Really exciting stuff. Give him a follow and comment and give him some love. And finally, bullish Brook. IBRX Saudi Arabia is now a leading destination for wealthy medical tourists, as I was saying. ANKTIVA-based immunotherapy 2.0. And he looks at a lot of this. I really enjoyed seeing this idea of saying, okay, if you're from America, if you're from France, Germany, China, Hong Kong, Australia, you can become a Saudi Arabia tourist. Saudi Arabia is interested in this. This is why Saudi's doing this. They say, this guy's a brilliant genius. We want his science. We want to invest in him. We don't have a US FDA. We don't have Big Pharma. We don't have Merck, Pfizer. Saudi is saying we can get our GDP up by investing in this man. Extremely smart. I love it. And now we go over to the fun stuff. If you know my channel, I look at market cap. I look at beta. I'm not going to look at beta here. It's useless. I'm not going to look at EPS. It's totally useless. So how do we value this unique early stage cancer treatment, this exciting thing? Well, I turned to Grok and I said, Grok, what's a price to sales ratio? Because PE is for earnings. You don't have earnings. So you have to turn to price to sales if you don't have earnings for high flying tech or biotech. And I said, Grok, what is a PS for a high flying biotech with a potential cancer cure? And Grok gave me back 15 to 25 based on Grok's in-depth research. So I went and modeled an optimistic scenario. All checkpoints hit. Revenue could reach $2.5 billion to $3 billion by year-end 2030. And I used growth rates initially 100% year-on-year, up to 200% because I'm including lung cancer in there. I'm first saying bladder only, 2026, right? Because we have to go through those trials in Saudi Arabia. We have to get it to the market. And then we can scale with lung. And then again, scale 100% year-on-year growth of revenue. More scale, but decreasing marginal scale returns, 50%. So we're around a CAGR of 40 to 60%, right? That's still really, really high. And so I'm kind of conservative, so I will use a price to sales multiple of 20 if Grok is giving me 15 to 25. And the justification is, again, for a high growth biotech like IBRX, post-approval, pipeline diverse, 50% plus CAGR, a fair forward PS multiple is 15 to 25. That's what Grok told me, okay? Now, if they exceed expectations, you can assign them a 25, 30 price to sales multiple because they're just blasting street estimates, just like maybe say Taiwan Semiconductor did with their full year 2025 report. They just blasted estimates in AI and revised everything up. So really bullish stuff. My assumptions on DCF, discount back 5 years. So I discounted this stuff back at 5 years with the cost of capital and a present value. I get 27 billion. That's market cap, by the way, 27 billion. So I want to differentiate that from the stock price because everybody looks at stock. Well, there's 1.1 billion shares outstanding. So you divide 27 billion by 1.1 billion, you get a stock price of 25 to 28. So they're kind of near each other, right? Now, this is a perfect world. So I don't expect a perfect world. Analysts' current average price target is $11.50. Some have it at 8, some have it at 25. Optimistically, I think we could go to 25 to 28 in 2026, but don't expect the market to keep it there. What I mean is take profit, be responsible. If we get to that price, great. And then for future, me personally, I'm going to be accumulating back on dips because I want to hold this stock through 2030. There's no reason to sell my entire bag. I would sell like 15% if it got to 25. That's it. If it comes back, I buy that 15% back at cheaper prices. I'm just managing my exposure, taking a little profits, spending a little money, and enjoying the process with maybe my 85% leftover bag at 25 to 28, where I can accumulate if it comes down. And if it doesn't come down, if it goes up, great. I don't know the future. As a trader, I'm not here to predict the future. I'm here to tell you logic and scenario-based analysis, okay? Key assumptions, as I talked about, assuming ImmunityBio hits all their checkpoints over the next 5 years. This is very critical. I'm assuming they do. I love Patrick. I love the model. I love IBRX. I'm assuming there's no problem, okay? So, and again, if you want to look at this more closely, it just shows all the rollouts, all the build-outs, all in the high growth scenarios, tapering by 40% by 2030, which is what I use. So if you agree with me, drop your comment. If you don't, drop your comment. I don't have to be agreeable. Maybe you think it's going to 8. I'm just giving you a rational, data-backed valuation based on what I think, based on, a price to sales multiple of 20, which is for a high-flying biotech. That's what you're going to get. You're not going to get a price to sales multiple on Merck or Pfizer at 20. You're just not. They're a multi-billion-dollar organization that don't grow like a cancer cure is going to grow, okay? So that's why I'm doing this. And I could use 25 multiple, and this stock price would probably be 35. But I'm going to be a little bit conservative. I can even use 15. So I could say, okay, be very conservative, 15 price to sales multiple. They hit all their checkpoints right here, and they hit all their revenue checkpoint. They can beat earnings. There's a chance that they can miss. This kind of puts you at the midpoint. And again, this is a net present value. So you're saying, well, when 25 to 28? Well, in a perfect world, this year. We all don't live in a perfect world, okay? Things don't usually hit estimates perfectly, but we have estimates so that we can guide ourselves. All right? So that's going to wrap up this video. And I appreciate all the likes and subscriptions, and follow me on Twitter. I'm going to link everything in the bio, in the description, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much.